Welcome back to Sidelined, Episode 2, with your host, Matt Samson. Before we get going, I want to remind everyone, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow the Instagram page, Wilco Media. Let's get going. It's really not that hard. You press the button. And I'm going to tell you what we got going on today. I'm just going to give you my 3 biggest takeaways from Week 2 of the NFL season. Then I'm going to bring in a special guest. I'm very excited to have him on. Big-time guest today. We're going to get in a little deeper some topics, have a little back-and-forth discussion, and we're going to wrap up. It's going to be a quick episode, quick hitters. We're going to waste no time, get right to it. My biggest takeaway of the week is the Broncos are screwed. I think the coach they have looks like a fucking idiot. He fucked up Monday night. They should have won that game. And even though they won yesterday, they beat Houston at home. Terrible team. It was a close game the whole way. They did not look good. The coach looked like a fool. A lot of mistakes from him. I think the Broncos are in deep trouble, and I think it's because of the coach they hired. I think they really fucked up. My second biggest takeaway is the 49ers need to count their blessings that they kept Jimmy G. You could see Trey Lance getting hurt. You knew it was going to happen. He's undersized, the way he plays running around. Thank God they didn't trade Jimmy G, because now they can have a football season. They have a loaded roster. They have a quarterback who's been there before. Say what you want about him. The guy wins. Good thing Jimmy G is in a Niners uniform, because we're going to get, they could win their Super Bowl contender. And my third biggest takeaway is the Commanders. You traded for Carson Wentz. They wanted Carson Wentz. He sucks. Carson Wentz is a terrible quarterback. He's not good. And they wanted him. They're not stuck with, they wanted Carson Wentz. They're in trouble. I think the Commanders are fucked. And if I was a fan of theirs, I would consider switching teams. Those are my 3 biggest takeaways from Week 2. But I want to dive into the games. I want to get a little deeper, game by game. I'm going to bring in my first guest of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Reed.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Sam, it's great seeing you, dude.
Happy to be here.
You look great. The flannel, the jeans, it's a nice fall look.
Thank you. It's a little bit chilly outside, so I thought I'd dress the part.
All right, enough with pleasantries. Let's get into football. Chargers Chiefs, Thursday night. Did you watch the game, Sam?
Absolutely.
Okay. I fell asleep, but I went back and rewatched it all for this show. Chiefs won. Great game. 27-24. Mahomes v. Herbert. This is primetime football. Sam, my biggest takeaway, Herbert got hurt his ribs, took a shot in the ribs, stayed in the game, finished it out, made some great passes. Sam, my biggest takeaway, this is going to be a rivalry, I think, for the next 10 years. Chiefs, Chargers, Mahomes, Herbert. These are 2 of the most excited teams in the league, Sam.
Yeah, I got to say, this looked like an early preview of what is probably the AFC Conference Championship game. I
would agree.
It's either that or possibly Buffalo.
I'll say Buffalo.
Replacing one of the teams, but that is TBD at this moment. But it was a very fun football game. It was a little bit of a runaway with the Chiefs early on, because they were up by like 2 touchdowns, I think, and then San Diego came back and made it into a 3-point game at the end there.
I think their coach is a fucking idiot on the Chargers. He cost them a playoff spot last year.
He's not the brightest bulb. My roommate at school, he is a big-time Chargers fan because he grew up in California.
Sure.
But let me tell you, not the brightest bulb. He's got to utilize his offense better.
Yeah.
He's got to make sure key players like Keenan Allen don't go down. Because if they had Keenan Allen, I don't see why they don't not win this game.
I think Keenan Allen's the difference.
He's a big difference maker in this offense, because then it opens up the running game with Eckler, who's big time. They didn't really utilize him in that game.
No. He hasn't had a lot of goal line touches, because I have him in fantasy. So
it's a shame, because they can use him, in the shotgun, out of the back, or even in the slot too.
Yeah.
And he's another weapon that they got to look after, because they got him, Mike Williams, who had a great game. Nothing bad to say about him, especially that catch.
He had a nice catch.
That was phenomenal.
He's got good hands.
But other than that, they could be in trouble if they don't utilize the game plan well.
Sam, I agree. But I think we're both excited for that rivalry to play out.
Absolutely.
All right. We're both Pats fans. And there's the graphic. Pats Steelers. It was an ugly game. 17-14, low scoring. Mac Jones versus Mitch Trubisky. Not exactly, the high, Mahomes. Kind of the opposite of Mahomes and Herbert. Let's be honest. This game was pretty fucking boring. I watched it, at Goody's house. The Pats did win. It didn't look great. I'll give them credit. You got to win games like that. Not every game's going to, look pretty. Sam, I'm concerned, though. Because before the game, you have Jacoby Myers, one of the longest tenured Patriots. I think the longest tenured receiver, maybe longest tenured offensive player.
Yep.
Jacoby Myers, before the game, I got this update on my phone. He said, quote, when asked about the offense, quote, I question what the plan is sometimes and how we're going to attack. Now, Sam, if I was the ruler, of a country, of a nation, and when the common people, the peasants, they start questioning you, and they start, word spreads, Sam, you're going to get overthrown. You're going to get assassinated. Not good for the Patriots. And Jacoby Myers is not a loudmouth. This is not a troublemaker guy. This guy is a respected guy throughout the league on the team, one of the leaders of your team, and he's questioning week 2. This is not the end of the season when you suck. This is week 2, and he's questioning Matt Patricia and the fucking offense, dude. You know why? It's fucking Belichick's fault, because he hired Matt Patricia, who's a fucking idiot, and he's already ruining it. I mean, they scored 17 points. What do you think?
So, you couldn't have said it better myself. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Jacoby Myers, he's one of those guys, not very loud in terms of talking. He's more of like a lead by example. Like, he shows it out on the field. He had a great game.
He did have a good game. 9 catches, I think.
9 catches,
Solid.
like 90 yards
Solid.
or something like that. Phenomenal
dude,
game.
He's peanut butter and jelly. Solid, dude. When you need it, it's there.
Let me just say, Belichick has no idea what he's doing out there. He has his son calling defensive
Steve
plays
Belichick, who looks like an idiot. He looks like a doofus.
Has no idea what he's doing.
I'm sorry. He kind of looks like an inbred. Like, it doesn't, I don't know what's going on in the Belichick
It doesn't help
house,
his case that he can't call plays on defense.
No, he's got a tough haircut.
But anyways, you got a guy, Matt Patricia, coming in here to call offensive plays when he was the defensive coordinator before he left New England.
No offensive experience.
And then he goes to Detroit. And look what he did in Detroit. Did he produce a winning season?
They ran him out of town in fucking Detroit.
Exactly.
No.
That's where careers go to die, in Detroit.
I don't like him. The Patriots won this game. I give credit, They
had one good drive. It was the Aguilar catch.
I don't know.
Moving the ball
that was
well.
a great catch. I didn't know Stone Hands could actually do that.
He can make plays like that. He just can't catch the ball if he's wide open.
I don't know what Belichick's doing. We won this game. They're playing Baltimore next week, then Green Bay. I wouldn't be surprised by 1-3 start.
We're going to get steamrolled. I hate to break it to you, especially if we look like that. We only won that game because they muffed that punt at the end.
The glory days are over. All right. On that note, let's go to two more suckbag franchises, the Panthers and the Giants. Oh, excuse me, Jets-Browns, excuse me. The Browns were up 2 touchdowns, dude. The Browns are, I was right, 2 shit franchises, fucking Browns and Jets. And Joe Flacco, they got an onside kick. Amari Cooper muffed it. Joe Flacco comes back, leads the Jets. The Jets somehow fucking win, dude. This is going to come back to bite the Browns in the ass because they're going to be competing for a playoff spot all year. And these are games you got to win, Sam. What do you think?
So, I was one of the fucking idiots that decided to put money on the Browns spread, which was 6.5.
Ooh.
So when I saw that the Jets came down and scored quickly, I was like, oh no, because they're only up 6, right? But then come to find out, the Jets kick an onside kick. It gets muffed by the Browns, Amari Cooper. The Jets recover, come down the field. Joe Flacco throws a touchdown pass, 15-yard strike to Garrett Wilson, their new acquisition from the draft. The Buckeye.
Looks good so far.
And they win the game.
They do win the game. They
stole a win from Cleveland, in Cleveland, too. Think of that. The Browns fans were sitting there, up 13 points. They're like, oh, no biggie. Less than 2 minutes. We have this game. Nope.
Listen, if I was a Cleveland Browns fan, I'd probably just off myself at this point. Never mind. All right, sorry.
You just let a 37-year-old Joe Flacco that hasn't shown anything since his time in Baltimore just tear you apart in the last 2 minutes. He did a 2-minute drill and scored 2 touchdowns on you.
When you think of shitbag franchises in the NFL, you think of the New York Football Jets and the Cleveland Browns. They're just these two guys can't catch a break.
It's the shit bowl. What more can we say?
Well, Sam, speaking of shitball, Panthers-Giants. That's a shitball. Two bad teams. My biggest takeaway is Baker. I think Baker's cooked, dude. I mean, the offense looks terrible. I think Baker looks bad. You know, people are wondering, is it the injury last year in Cleveland? I think Baker's done. I think Rule's about to get fired. He's done nothing there. I'm out on the Panthers. Giants are 2-0. Hasn't been pretty, but they are 2-0. Sam, what do you think?
So I think you're totally right with the Panthers take. Baker's washed up. I mean, ever since he went to Cleveland, he just didn't look good at all. He'd always throw interceptions. He's one of the league leaders in interceptions every year.
Yeah.
Then you got Matt Rule. He hasn't done anything since he came into Carolina. He hasn't proven himself. And it seems like his team is just falling apart. I mean, he's not utilizing Christian McCaffrey, who's arguably one of the best talents in the league.
Yeah.
And it just seems like since they're not utilizing him, the best case for CMC is that he gets traded. Because I don't see a new coach changing anything because of how bad their roster
Sam,
is.
I think McCaffrey's best days might be behind him. He's had 2 injury-riddled seasons. I mean, he still can be a contributor, but I don't think he's going to be the guy who put up like 2,000 all-purpose yards anymore.
I don't see like 2,000, but I feel like if you went to a team that's got a good O-line, like let's say you put him on a team like the Rams.
Okay.
Like when they had that good O-line, he'd easily smash 1,000 yards.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I think so.
Give you like 1,500 all-purpose yards. And then as far as the Giants go, you know, it was a fluke win week 1 against the Titans because they came down, got the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And then we're on the verge of losing the game. But thanks to Randy Bullock, who missed a chip shot field goal at the end. What was it, like a 41-yarder?
Sure.
Missed it just to the left. I mean, you know, that's a luck win.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, you know, this week they played Carolina. Carolina's not good, so you shouldn't be proud of
So
that.
Sam Reed's not buying in on the New York Football Giants.
They still
You're not believing in Daniel Jones?
No.
Okay.
No, Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes.
He's not a QB.
What a fucking stupid nickname for him. He sucks. He sucked at Duke.
He's not good. I don't know why they reached on him. They could have got a more proven guy.
Dwayne Haskins. Well, he's dead. Rest in peace. Actually, rest in peace.
Yeah.
He is dead, though.
He is, but...
He's dead. All right, we'll move on. Colts Jaguars. Some way, somehow, the Jaguars skunked the Colts. 24-0. Trevor Lawrence fucking... I mean, Sam, I would not have thought... I didn't think this would happen. I'm speechless.
Trevor Lawrence played his best game of his NFL career to date. Their defense, I guess, just showed up on that Sunday and just blinked. One of the best offenses in the NFL.
Well, Sam, it's interesting you say that. So, yes, the Jaguars played well. Christian Kirk looked really good. That signing looks good so far. James Robinson, Lawrence looked good. My biggest I think the Colts are fucked. The Colts are screwed. You trade for Carson Wentz, who fucking sucks. Then you're like, all right, the quarterback was the problem last year because they have a good O-line, solid D, probably best running back in the league, Jonathan Taylor. You bring in Matt Ryan. You go, all right, this is the guy who's going to get us to the playoffs the next step. Matt Ryan looked awful yesterday. He looked so fucking cooked. I mean, Matty Ice, what a fucking unfitting nickname. Matty Ice, because he has ice in his veins. I don't think he's ever won a big game in his life. He just looks scared on the field. He sucks. The Colts sucked. I think they're fucked. The crazy part is, though, they could still win their division because they play in, like, the worst division in the league.
Yep.
If I'm an Indy fan, I would be really concerned with 3 more years of Matt Ryan because he's not that dude.
Yeah, he is not the Matt Ryan that won the MVP that year that they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Even that year, he shit his pants in the Super Bowl, too.
Yeah, but he played well up until the second half. I mean, our defense came alive. But in that first half, he played well.
Okay. All right. So it seems like you're in on Matt Ryan.
I mean, he went to BC, Matt. You know how I feel about BC.
That's why I hate him more, because I know you like BC, but I'm not a BC guy.
Yeah. Come on.
All right. Dolphins. We'll go to Dolphins-Ravens on that note. Crazy. This is maybe the game of the week. The fucking Ravens were up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Tua time. He comes back. He threw for 470 yards, 6 touchdowns. Sam, I think the Dolphins got something cooking on offense. This guy, new coach, Mike McDaniel. I mean, you get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think they might be the best receiver duo in the entire league. They're so fast. You can't double one of them. I mean, they look unbelievable, especially Jalen Waddle. He's ascending. The Ravens blew it. Lamar looked great, but I mean, you can't blow that lead. But my biggest takeaway is watch out for Miami and their speed, man. I think they can play with anyone with those two receivers.
Yeah, I got to say, it was very impressive watching Miami come back in this game, being down 3 touchdowns. I think it was 28-7 and then 35-14.
That's unheard of.
So they were down 3 touchdowns twice and somehow found a way to claw back into this game. Their defense started getting the stops that they needed, and then Tua and his offense came alive. He connected with Tyreek Hill twice on 2 passes that were like 50 yards plus. It's unbelievable. I mean, what a game.
I think the Dolphins are looking good, and the Ravens, I think they need to pay Lamar Jackson. Bucs Saints. Now, Sam, the Buccaneers won. Did not look good. Ugly. They got lucky because the Saints had to come back. Jay Boo had 4 fractures in his back and played. He threw a pick 6 at the end. Should we be worried about the Buccaneers, Sam?
No, I just feel like all the good teams, they all have like one of those games early on in the season where they just kind of don't look great out there. Like, nothing's clicking per se, but yet they still manage to get by and either like win the game or like stay in the game till the very end.
Okay.
And this just happened to be one of those things. I know Brady's got a lot of things going on off the field with his wife, but
Giselle.
I mean, that strike he threw to Brashad Perryman in the
That's a
back
good pass.
of the
That looked like you back in St. John's Elementary,
It was a great strike.
At
I
recess.
mean, that was like vintage Brady. I got a little bit of
vintage
chills
Tom.
on that
All right.
throw.
You got a little movement for Sam down low?
But I feel like the only reason they came out with the win today was definitely their defense.
Okay.
Because they didn't really get it done on offense. Like, Leonard Fournette, he didn't get it going on the ground.
No,
and
tell me about it.
It seems like Tom's stats weren't there to back it up as well. What do you have? A touchdown and a pick?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not worried about it. In my eyes, Tom Brady could do no wrong. I mean, it could come out like tomorrow, like Tom Brady murders dog in cold blood on purpose. I don't care. That's my quarterback. He can do no wrong. That's my guy.
I'm with him till the end.
It's week 2. They'll figure it out. I'm not worried. I think the Bucs will be just fine. Commanders, Lions. I kind of want to talk about the Lions because just quickly, after Hard Knocks, I'm all in on him. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, how the fuck you say his name? He's legit. I think DeAndre Swift is that dude. Hutchinson looks good. They're flying. They're not going to be they're a frisky team. They're frisky. They're frisky. But the Commanders, dude. You traded for Carson Wentz. He sucks and blows. He's awful. Carson Wentz is not a good quarterback, and they wanted him. They're going to have a losing season. They're going to suck. They'll be looking for a quarterback next year. I cannot believe they traded for Carson Wentz, who sucks and blows. What do you think?
I got to say, you're right about the Lions. They're a very gritty team.
Frisky.
As you could see from Hard Knocks, if you guys tune into that. Great show.
Good show.
But DeAndre Swift, he's a very versatile running back. Can catch passes out of the backfield. You can put him in the slot. He's very shifty. I don't know if you saw that touchdown he scored at the end. They threw it to him out in the flat.
It's a good touchdown.
And, oh, my God. I thought he was done for. There was a couple instances where he should have been tackled.
Yeah.
Somehow found a way to get by, give him a little hesitation, little juke move.
Yeah, one of those.
And just casually walks into the end zone. That was phenomenal.
He's swift.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's trying to be a clear-cut number 1.
I think he
could be a star. We could have a star.
He's kind of breaking out, dude. I mean, he's that dude.
What we've seen so far from him, especially that last game, even though it was against Washington, who's not the best team and has the best secondary, phenomenal. I got to say, phenomenal. But in terms of the Washington football team, I don't know where the direction of this team is going.
They stink.
You bring in Carson Wentz, right? You think he's going to be the savior to your prayers. No, there's a lot more going on. I mean, Ron Rivera doesn't know how to coach a football team ever since his time in Carolina.
Yeah, I think they're fucked.
You got some talent on the roster. You got Chase Young, but he's out a couple weeks because he injured himself during week 1. Antonio Gibson, great talent in the backfield, but, if the O-line's not doing their job, he's not going to be able to get anything going on the ground.
I mean, Sam, they were going to replace him in training camp until his replacement got fucking shot.
I'm just saying, last year, he was a great talent. But then I do like the pick, Jahan Dotson.
Okay, he's
from
looks
Penn
good.
State.
Dotson looks really good.
He's looked good so far. in the limited reps he's seen in terms of targets.
Yeah.
Because he's made some sick catches, including the one in week 1 against Jacksonville. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I don't see this team doing anything this year.
No,
Maybe like 3 wins.
They'll do what they do everywhere. Suck and blow. Because that's what the Commanders do.
Like a Dyson vacuum.
All right. Seahawks, Niners. I mean, I could have told you this one. Trey Lance gets hurt. He's a little guy, you know. And frankly, I'm not surprised. Week 2, he's out the whole because they kicked Jimmy G to the curb, you know, like a whore. Kicked him out of the apartment, you know. And now they want him back. It's lonely, you know what I mean? They want him back. But frankly, I'm happy because I hope he sticks it to the Niners, and I hope he takes them on another deep playoff run, which I think is very possible in the NFC, which frankly sucks. And I think if Jimmy G plays well, he's going to get a fat new contract. And, I mean, Trey Lance, not a good start to his career. I think this is really the story of the week. Jimmy G's back, full-time starter. Trey Lance out for the year. Like that. Sam, do you think Jimmy G's the guy? What do you think? I mean, everyone's wondering what Sam thinks.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm very mad about Robert Kraft and the Pats letting him go.
Okay.
Like, I think letting him go was definitely one of our worst decisions we've ever made.
Okay, oh, wow.
Because he proved himself in those couple games he started when Brady was suspended.
Sam, I'm going to play devil's advocate. He does get hurt a lot. He is injury prone.
Well, that's because his O-line's not doing their part. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's what you okay, all right.
Because if you don't have time to throw the football, if you have 1 second,
all right.
Think about that. You let the ball
1 second's
go,
not a lot
next
of
thing
time.
you know, you got a 6'5", 300-pound guy coming at you at full speed. You're on your ass.
Shout out to Joe Burrow.
So,
You would know.
you know what I mean? I think Jimmy
Sure.
G's that guy.
Okay.
I think now that he's going to have a full week of practice repping with the starters
Yeah,
again,
he wasn't there
getting
during
back
training
into
camp.
it,
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to gel with those players again. I know he has connections with Deebo Samuel and Kittle because those were his 2 guys that he'd throw the ball to all the time. I feel like they're going to become fantasy relevant.
Debo.
And they're going to take this team, hopefully, on a deep playoff run, like you said. But in terms of Seattle, though, let's talk about Seattle. Geno Smith, starting QB of this franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I think Seattle's irrelevant, to be honest. I think they're done. They're probably the worst team in the league.
You remember Geno Smith with the Jets and the Bills?
I know Geno Smith.
Awful.
He's not good.
Absolutely awful.
Well, they're tanking this year. I mean, they traded everyone. Jamal Adams is out for the year. They're screwed.
I still don't know how they beat Denver. They should not have won that game.
I mean, we'll get to Denver. I mean, I'll tell you how they beat Denver.
I'm just saying they have no business win that game on paper.
Yeah, no, they didn't. No, they'll be. If I had to predict who was going to finish as the worst record in the league, I would. The early favorite, I think, is Seattle.
They're definitely
Seattle
down
or
there.
Houston. All right, Atlanta Rams. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this one. I mean, the Falcons are irrelevant. I think Drake London looks good. Looks like they hit on that pick. Kyle Pitts. I think the story is, though, the Rams almost blow it. They had a big lead on Atlanta, which is one of the worst teams in the league by far. They looked bad against Buffalo. They played Atlanta. They almost blew it again. The Rams, I think they'll be in the playoffs because of the NFC, but I don't think they're going to repeat. I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl this year. I'd be worried. Stafford, I don't think he can do it again. What do you think?
You know, the thing is, what's going on with the running back committee they got going on? They don't have a true defined starting running back.
See, I don't think that's a problem. For fantasy, it is. But, in terms of winning games?
I feel like it is.
Okay.
Because, it's a confidence thing. You know what I mean? You got to make sure that the guy knows he's the guy.
Okay.
You know, they need that 1 yard on 3rd and 1 to pick up the first down. Are you going to go to your number 1 guy? Or are you going to be like, oh, you guys are going to take turns and split off and see, who performs
Didn't
better?
they win the Super Bowl last year doing the same? Didn't they have a 3-headed committee? Sony Michel, Henderson, and Akers? No? All right.
I just feel it's got to be more defined right now.
All right.
I mean, because Cam Akers, great talent. I just don't think they're utilizing him.
Okay. I think he sucks, frankly. He looked terrible last year. We also had that knee injury, so I'll give him that. But Rams, worried. Cardinals, Raiders. You were. I watched this game with Sam. Was screaming at the TV during Cardinals, Raiders. I mean, the Cardinals. Somehow they came back. Raiders blew it. They're 0-2. Derek Carr looks like Derek Carr. I still think Kyler Murray sucks. I still hate Cliff Kingsbury. You see how he celebrated after that shit pisses me off, dude. When he celebrated after the game like they won the fucking Super Bowl. I hope they suck. I hope they don't go anywhere. I'm actively rooting against Arizona. And the Raiders, I'd be worried starting 0-2 in that division.
You know, Matt, when I was screaming at that TV,
yep.
I thought to myself, why did I actually do this to myself?
Yeah,
why did I place money on this game? Because I had Arizona plus 190 before the game even started. They go down.
I would have took Vegas
20-0 at the half. 20-0.
It's not good.
No life on their part. But then all of a sudden, I don't know what got into them. They started making plays.
Yeah, Mike's magic stuff.
Slowly got into it.
It
definitely wasn't a halftime speech from the coach because he doesn't know what he's doing out there. I don't like Kingsbury.
He sucks, dude.
He's not a good coach at all. I mean, I feel fucking terrible for the Cardinals fans.
Yeah, I don't feel that bad for them.
I do.
Okay.
They don't got a lot to look forward to out in Arizona.
That's nice.
They got the Diamondbacks.
Grand Canyon.
They're not doing anything in the MLB.
Been to the Grand Canyon? My friend Tim's been. He said it's overrated, but I'd still like to go.
But anyways.
Okay.
You know, people were writing Kyler Murray off just because Call of Duty came out, which, as you could tell, at least in that first half, he did look like it.
Is that what people were saying?
Oh, yeah. They were all in on the Raiders to win that game. They were hammering the spread, 5.5, but I knew. I had faith in him.
Okay.
But still,
he was screaming at the TV.
He doesn't look good at all. I got to say. He looks miserable.
I mean, just to sum it up, I think the Raiders are screwed. I think Derek Carr sucks. I think they need a new quarterback. I mean, he's okay, but I think they need a new quarterback if they ever want to ascend. I think Kyler Murray's a front runner, and I think Kingsbury's a joke.
Totally agree. Moving on.
I like this. I like the quick hitters. All right, speaking of fucking joke, I mean, Texans-Broncos, this was an ugly-ass game, dude. This was an ugly fucking game. Broncos won. But, dude, who gives a shit about the Texans? They're relevant. We knew they were going to suck. The story's the Broncos. A lot of people had the Broncos winning that division because of Russell Wilson. He looks okay, not like 2015 Russ. And their coach looks inept. They fucking blew Monday Night Football. He attempted a 65-yard field goal, man. Made 4th and 5 with, like, plenty of timeouts. He just looks clueless. He looks like he's overwhelmed. They were going to kick a field. We were watching the game. They were lining up to kick like a 55-yard field goal. They got to delay a game on a field goal attempt. And they had to punt the ball. I think they're not going to go anywhere because I think they fucked up hiring this coach, Nathaniel Hackett from Green Bay. It doesn't seem like he knows what he's second-guessing himself. At the first, after the Monday night game, he said, it was the right decision. Then he changed his mind. He said, I actually fucked up. If the leader of your team, the man you're looking to for the answers, is questioning himself and doesn't know what he's doing, people can sense that. That trickles through, Sam. You know what I mean? They're screwed. They're not going anywhere. I thought they were going to be better this year. They still might be, but cause for concern in Denver.
Yeah, I can tell that, the head coach and the players aren't really getting along. You can sense it just by looking at the camera shots when they show the sideline, the players.
Yeah.
Just look at Russell Wilson's face over there. He hates it.
Do you like Russell Wilson, Sam?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, he's a good guy.
All right. His wife is Sierra. She's a smoke.
Yeah, but, he's a good guy, good football player. Respect him. I love...
Future doesn't like him. Sorry.
That's okay. All right? We're trying to talk about football here, Matt. All right. Not about Future, all right?
All right.
I don't give a shit about
March
Future.
Madness, no.
Anyways.
I like Future.
So, Russell Wilson, he's looked terrible these first 2 weeks. I mean, he's got the weapons out the wazoo. He's got
Sutton.
Javonte Williams, who's emerged onto the scene. He had 11 catches week 1 for a running back.
That's a lot.
That's incredible.
It's pretty good.
He's got Cortland Sutton, who's like a 6'4", 225.
He's nice.
Can run fast, can catch the deep ball.
Valid.
One-on-one coverage. He's going to go up there, make the catch over the safety or cornerback.
Yep.
He's got Jerry Jeudy, speedster in the slot. Great wide receiver out of Alabama.
Bama.
And their O-line is all right.
It's okay.
It's nothing special,
okay.
but it's a lot better than he had in
like
Seattle.
Peanut butter crackers. It's all right.
It's better than
gets the
what
job
he had
done.
in Seattle. In Seattle,
was a need.
he had no time to throw the ball.
No time.
But he's got a little bit more time. But
Little
yet it
bit,
seems
just a little
like
bit more.
it's not really working. So now we got to look at, is he the problem?
Okay.
Or is it the new head coach? Or is it a mixture of both?
I think if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say it's like 80% the coach and like 20% Russ. Because I think they would have won Monday night if they had a competent coach. And then I think they would have scored a lot more points if they had a better coach. I think I want to see a couple more weeks on how Russ looks. But I think it's the coach if I had to answer your question, primarily. Broncos country. Let's ride. All right, Bengals Cowboys. This was maybe one of the most surprising outcomes. I really thought after they lost, the Bengals were going to come out guns blazing and blow out Dallas, and we'd all be talking about Dallas is fucked without Dak. Didn't happen. Dallas went up 17-0. Bengals came back, but Cooper Rush ultimately led a drive down the field. I think the two biggest takeaways, one, can Cooper Rush hold down the fort until Dak comes? Which I think he can. He beat Minnesota last year. They just beat Cincinnati, two good teams. He's not great, but I think he's a serviceable backup from what I've seen so far. And I think they may be okay with him until Dak comes back. Number two, Cincinnati's 0-2. They made the Super Bowl last year, miracle season. They have a target on their back this year. Those are two winnable games. You got to beat Pittsburgh and Dallas without Dak. Two winnable games. With that said, I'm not hitting the panic button yet on the Bengals. I'm a believer in Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they got weapons out the fucking building. Pittsburgh, Mitch Trubisky, that doesn't look great. The Ravens, I'd be a little worried about. And then Cleveland, without Deshaun Watson. If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm not worried yet. I'm a believer in Burrow. And believe it or not, I think Rush may hold on the fort while Dak's out. Sam, what do you think?
It's definitely a surprising start for them to go 0-2 to start the season.
It's a Super Bowl hangover, man.
They lost week 1. That was a very disappointing finish for them.
5 turnovers from Joey B.
Yeah, but the field goal barrage at the end,
that was crazy.
the missed field goals, that was crazy. I'm very disappointed week 1.
Yeah.
Then week 2, like you said, they should have came out swinging, but instead they were met with the Cowboys defense, who showed up. I got to say, they did give him hell. They were pressuring Joe Burrow, making him make throws that he wasn't comfortable with.
Yeah.
I know Leighton Vander Esch on the other side of the ball. He was leading that defense. He's a great player, I got to say.
He's solid. They have a good linebacking room.
So I'm not worried about Cincy. They're definitely going to pick it up in week 3 and 4. I feel like they'll bounce back, bring it back to 500.
Yeah.
Then as far as the Cowboys go, very impressive to see Cooper Rush this game. Okay. I did not think he'd play as well as he did, especially that final drive he led. It's also very interesting to see because I know CD was talking about how there's a lot of pressure on him being the number 1 wide receiver now.
88 club.
And
a lot of pressure.
Let me say,
wearing that number for the Cowboys.
If there's going to be a lot more attention on him, if the Cowboys are going to be relevant, is going to be Cooper Rush being able to throw the ball to his other options.
He's got to get it out
there.
quick. You got to use Pollard out of the backfield. Dalton Schultz, Gallups needs to come back and be effective. The other weapons need to be utilized.
It seemed like he was leaning towards Brown.
Noah Brown? He had a good game He had some nice catches yesterday.
So I feel like he could be a nice wide receiver 3 for them.
Okay.
Once they get Gallup
and back
involved and
Gallup's solid. They kind of need him back. Like low key, that's a big injury.
But other than that, good win for the Cowboys. Don't panic if you're a Cincinnati fan.
Ride 'em, Cowboys. All right, last game we have here, Bears Packers. I mean, the Bear. It's gotta be fucking. I mean, imagine being depressed in real life, and then being from Chicago and having to watch the Bears. I mean, that's that's fucked up, dude.
The Bears.
I mean, dude, it's looking forward all week to the Bears. The only thing I have to look forward to, and then they do this every week. I mean, dude, Justin Fields in 2022, when Tua Tagovailoa just threw for 470 yards and 6 touchdowns, Justin Fields threw for 70 yards. Sam, 70 yards. I mean, they got smoked. They suck. They're gonna come in last. They blow. They're going to be drafting a quarterback next year. I mean, the Bears are rebuilding again already, and the Packers. I can't say anything about them yet because they beat the Bears. Let's see when they play a real team in Week 3. What do you think?
So like you said, it's not a good day to be a Bears fan. You know, they look terrible. There was a little bit of a spark last night when Justin Fields put in the first touchdown of the game. You know, there was a little something there,
a little movement.
You know,
there was a little movement.
You got a little bit excited.
Not fully, but like halfway maybe.
But overall, you know, going into this, they weren't going to win the game.
No, you didn't.
They got an awful record against Green Bay. Not a good track record.
I think Rodgers has won his last 9 games against Chicago.
I mean, they can't throw the ball to save their life.
70 yards, Sam?
70 yards.
You could throw for 70 yards for the Bears.
I think I could kick 70 yards.
You do have a good leg.
But anyways, you know, Green Bay, I like their two-headed committee of Dillon and Aaron Jones.
It was probably the best, between Chubb and Hunt, or Dillon and Jones, 2 best running back tandems in the league.
They looked great last night, you know, because the Bears got a good run defense. Okay. And, you know, Aaron Jones had a great game. He scored twice.
He had 2 touchdowns.
A.J. Dillon, you know, he got it going on the ground as well.
He had 68 yards rushing.
Had a couple of good blocks.
He's a big dude. BC. That's your BC connection.
Yeah. No, big fan of him. He's a great guy, too.
Okay. You know him personally?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, you know, Green Bay, I'm not really buying them this year. You know, they don't really have a lot going on.
I'm not buying them either.
They just have the 2 running backs, and then
sell Green Bay.
Look at their wide receiver core.
Not good.
2 rookies and a washed-up Sammy Watkins.
And Lazard.
They don't really have anyone for Rodgers to throw the ball to.
They got nobody.
So I don't see them making a run at all. I feel like they're going to be just under 500, maybe like a 6-7 win team, struggling in the North.
The North.
Because I feel like the Vikings are definitely going to take it.
All right. Sam, it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You brighten my day. You brighten the viewers' day. You're just a great guy.
Thanks for having me, Matt. I appreciate that.
All right, enough of Sam. All right. Next week, we're going to be talking Titans-Bills. We're going to be talking Vikings-Eagles, the 2 Monday Night Football games from this slate of games. We're going to be talking Patriots, of course. They got big matchup versus Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. We'll see how each of those teams look. We're going to be talking Buccaneers, Tom Brady and the Bucs. Mike Evans is suspended a game. How's that offense going to look? Will Julio be back? Will Godwin is going to be back? We're just going to look around the league. We're going to be talking all games, all matchups, all quarterbacks. Herbert, how he responds from that rib injury. We're going to be diving into it all. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe to Wilco Media. Please, if you haven't already, I don't know what you're doing. Thank you for watching episode 2 of the Sidelined Show. Matt Samson.